Hey, yo guys, Ruby of Blue here, and welcome to my most pretentious stream ever, where I will go into analyzing art! So this is gonna be a pretty chill, laid-back stream, at least compared to my other ones. We're going to be comparing the original graphics of Halo Combat Evolved to the new graphics of Halo Combat Evolved. So, for those of you who don't know, Halo Anniversary came out in 2011 on the 10-year anniversary of the original Halo Combat Evolved, and it remade and remastered it in the best way possible, in that all it did was make a whole new set of graphics, but keep the gameplay exactly the same. The gameplay, the engine, the voice acting, it's all the same. It's the same game, just with new graphics. But the best part about it is that you can switch back and forth between the new graphics and the old graphics on the fly, and that's something every remaster that does something like this should adopt, because that is the perfect idea. People who want to play with remastered graphics can do that, but people who want the old graphics get it too. Now, the only problem with that, where Halo Anniversary is concerned, is that while you can switch between remastered and old music, you cannot switch to the old sound effects, so you're forced to listen to the remastered sound effects, which I don't want. I'm not going to be comparing sound effects or music on the stream, because I just have the default position that those things, it's pointless to change those things anyway, because it's not really going to be better, just different. Unless you're like one of those people who cares about if something is compatible with 5.0 surround sound or something, which I don't. So we're going to be playing with original music, because I have the opinion that I don't care about new music. It shouldn't even have been touched anyway. Unfortunately, Halo 2 Anniversary doesn't have the option for that, to listen to classic music and new graphics, but anyway. We're going to be watching the remastered cutscenes. Unfortunately, I don't think in Halo, I don't think there's any way in Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary to switch back and forth between new and old cutscenes, but you can in Halo 2. But even though we don't have an immediate point of comparison with the new and old cutscenes, I'm still going to be pointing out differences that I don't like in the new cutscenes. Give me just a sec. I'm going to go turn on my fan like I always do at the beginning of these streams, because I always forget, because whenever I play my Xbox One, it gets really fucking hot. So I'll be right back. Alright. Alright, how y'all doing today? Yeah, sorry, Adam, I can't take you up on that shiny Oshawott that you got. One, I don't have Pokemon Bank yet, so I can't transfer it down to Black 2 or White 2. Two, if I take your Oshawott, then that means all the work I've done up till now has been pointless. Yeah, and three, if I just accept somebody else's shiny one, it wouldn't feel the same. It wouldn't feel as special. Ah, yes, Adam. I do indeed have a glass of iced tea. So we're going to be playing on easy, because this is not going to be, like, gameplay focused. Purely, we're going to be going on graphics here. And we're gonna, just for fun, I turned on the Grunt birthday party skull and the infinite ammo skull, the bandana skull. It's infinite ammo, but it doesn't give us infinite clips, which is disappointing, because I want to be able to shoot the rocket launcher infinitely. That would be so fun. Hello, Isabel, Missile GMA, and Kid Flash. So is there anything else? This is probably going to be my most talkative stream, since that's pretty much what it's all about. I'm going to turn down the volume a bit. Okay, so, yeah, once again, it's really saddening to me that you can't listen to the original sound effects for the weapons in this game. You have to listen to the new ones, but they did a decent job with the sound effects, at least. I think we're ready to get started. So, I am going to be talking the hell out of all these cutscenes because for some reason the cutscenes have, like, very weird and nonsensical changes to the cinematography that doesn't really make sense. One thing I loved about the Bungie Halo games is that their art styles were always based in realism. Okay, so here's the first difference we come across right now. In the original cutscene, we open with a shot of the Halo ring. Here, however, we open up with a shot of the Pillar of Autumn. But if you play the Anniversary Edition on Legendary, it does open up with the same shot as the original game, which you might have seen in my playthrough. Oh, I didn't use the Anniversary graphics, so no. This might have been done to tie in more with Reach, which did the same thing, but just unnecessary changes to the cutscenes like this make me not... The cutscenes for Halo Anniversary aren't very good. And we're about to see that right here, as we see Captain Keyes' beautiful duck face.
We made a blind jump. How did they...
Look at him, he looks like he smelled a fart. What the hell happened to you? Why does his face look so weird when it's, like, from that angle? So, here we have mocap now, and for the most part, with Captain Keyes, the mocap is pretty good, but for the mocap for the Master Chief, as we'll see, he just moves around way too much, I think.
So, where do we stand?
Our fighters are mopping up the last of their recon picket now.
Also, all of the crewmen in the original graphics, we'll see later, had different colored uniforms based on what their job was, but here they're all white, which I don't like.
Well, that's it then. Bring the ship back up to combat.
At least the cinematography is pretty one-to-one in this cutscene. The next time we visit the bridge, the cinematography gets weirdly changed.
Let's give our old friends a warm welcome.
I've already begun.
Also, Cortana's animations in the Anniversary cutscenes are awful. They're not even mocapped, I'm pretty sure. Or if they are, they're just really broken and wonky. And rather than making their own Cortana model, or even using the Cortana model that Bungie made in Reach that called back to Halo Combat Evolved's Cortana model, they just reused Halo 3's Cortana model. And you'll notice that in the Anniversary, they reuse a ton of assets from Halo 3 and Halo Reach. Which I'm okay with, as long as it fits in.
Move like you got a purpose.
This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
Also, Johnson's face looks really fucking weird here.
Eyes downrange, fingers on your triggers, and we all go home in one piece.
I don't know what's wrong with his face here.
Yes, sir. Damn right I am. Now move it out. Double time.
Needless to say, the facial models do not do the Anniversary cutscenes any favors.
All you greenhorns who wanted to see Covenant up close, this is gonna be your lucky day.
The motion capture here is pretty wonky and overdone.
Sir? Right.
Is there really any reason why this should be like moving around this much?
Bringing low-level systems online. Cracking the case in 30 seconds.
Like, I know the original had limited animation, but you don't need to move around this
He's
much.
hot. Blowing the pins in 5.
So I think the Master Chief's armor that they redone, we're never really going to get a good look at it, good comparison, but I think they did a pretty good job with the Master Chief's armor.
Shows green. Cycle complete.
It looks better than anything in fucking Halo 4 and 5, I'll tell you that.
Sorry for the quick thaw, Master Chief. Things are a little hectic right now.
As soon as I get out of the cryo tube, or actually, I'll do it right now. So, look at these textures in the cryo tube. That looks terrible, and it's obviously just like a 2D picture. In the original, it was just, you know, cushions. Why would you put a pipe next to where somebody is going to be sleeping in the cryo tube? I don't understand that. And the textures look awful as well. I'm being really harsh on it right now, but trust me, I told you that was going to happen, and it's really not. I'm going to be nitpicking a lot here, but in the grand scheme of things, a lot of what I'm talking about here doesn't really affect the overall experience. Gonna turn up the volume a bit. Okay, once we get out of the cryo tube, then the real stuff starts. So in the original release, 360 release of this anniversary title, there was a black fade in between graphics, but in the MCC, it's instantaneous.
Walk around the cryo bay and join me at the optical diagnostic station when you're ready.
Alright, so let's just get right to it. So, what is my gut reaction whenever I switch from here to here? Overall, really good job. I think they did a good job. Only complaint, I think, is that, you know, look here, and the lighting looks a lot more realistic, I guess you would say. Here, there's a lot more ambient lighting. Like, the area is lit up magically rather than by actual lights. You notice the ceiling is actually has some dark spots, but here it's just all lit up for some reason. There aren't actually any lights up there lighting up the ceiling, and yet it's perfectly lit. This is probably the best thing about the MCC, that it allows you to be this anal about the graphics. So for this is true for the most of the anniversary title. Areas where there aren't very much detail, they do a lot to add some great details to the areas. Let's analyze the cryo tube a bit more. Again, I don't know why they put two pipes right next to where the person is going to be sleeping.
Sir, I need you to look at me so we can begin.
Fuck off.
Stand on the red square, please.
No. So, the keypads in the Pillar of Autumn, they did something funny here. They added little text emoticons in the corners here. I think that was a cool little touch. Cryogenic Life Support System Diag. They did a good job reimagining the doors here. Oh yeah, and this is what I was talking about. So the crewmen, I'll analyze it later when we get some more crewmen.
Take care of your targeting sensors, but we're short of time, Chief. Just look at each of the flash.
So for each level, I'm going to give a rating based on how well I think they reimagined, or not reimagined, but remastered the levels. And that's just basically based on how well they recapture the feeling of the original. Oh yeah, and here's a skull. It's not in the original. So for the anniversary edition of Halo Combat Evolved, they did add skulls that you could collect. So you can actually get on top of the rafters here if you crouch jump. Okay, so here's something that I want to bring attention to. Alright, so we're in the original graphics now, and it looks normal. Everything looks normal. And then we switch to the anniversary graphics. Where is that blue fog coming from? Why is there blue fog in the middle of the Pillar of Autumn? Also, nice lighting glitch there. Look, there's blue fog. What the fuck is that doing in the Pillar of Autumn? That doesn't make any sense. Also, another thing you can notice is another glitch. A little glitch I found. If you, at certain points in the map, you can make the fog disappear. So if I crouch down here... Oh no, not crouch, jump. The fog goes away. Like, what is that? Why is the fog going away? And notice, I just made the fog go away, and the room looks a lot more natural, doesn't it? It looks like an actual room, not a fucking cavern. What is this fog? Why is this here? Why was that necessary? That just makes the thing look awful. It's not in the original, and yet here it is, just murking up the place. So that's the main issue I have with the Pillar of Autumn, is this stupid blue fog.
Stand on the yellow square.
Is there anything else of note in here? But other than that, other than the ambient lighting and the blue fog, pretty good job here in this room.
Okay, bring his energy shields online, please.
All right. Shields read as fully charged.
Okay, sir. Bring them down to test the automatic recharge.
So in the original, I didn't get to show it there, but there's a flash whenever your shields go down. That's not present in the Anniversary Edition.
Green across the board.
Bridge to Cryo 2, this is Captain Key. Send the Master Chief to the bridge immediately.
Captain, we'll have to skip the weapons diagnostics
On the double, crewman.
Aye, aye, sir. The skipper seems...
There's this weird glitch in the Anniversary Edition where some character voice lines will be like deepened a point. Or like, I don't know what you'd call it, but their voices are deepened for some reason. It's most evident with Cortana in some lines.
Intruders in Cryo 2! Please, Johnny!
Sam! Sam! Come on, we've got to get the hell out of here. This way.
So this is another thing in Anniversary. I'll show it off in a second. Okay, so here's one big issue I have with Halo CE Anniversary. Look at, you know, there's no light in this part, this section, this little part of the hallway right here. So where the frig is all this light suddenly coming from? Look, there's lights here, and no lights there. Lights down there, so it creates a dark spot. And it's the same scenario, except that area suddenly lit up. So there are way too many places in Anniversary where it should be dark, it should be spooky, it should evoke some kind of atmosphere of abandonment, or ancient, or, you know, spooky, like I said. But no. It's just a general complaint that Halo Anniversary is way overlit in a lot of areas. Also, here's another thing I want to bring attention to. Okay, look. We have a spinning little alarm thing on the ceiling. Makes sense. And then, look. I don't know if you can notice that. Oh, wait. They actually did model it. It's not until later that that actually becomes a problem. Okay. Gets a point here. Alright, those are the elites. So for this game, it just takes the elite models directly from Halo Reach, which does work in some cases and not in other cases. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the crewmen, since we have like two of them here. So look how their outfits are different colors. I think I counted all the outfits that colors that the crewmen can wear. They can wear red, orange, yellow, blue, and gray. I'm pretty sure. But here, they're all white. Why? That's just screams laziness to me. But the outfits themselves are pretty good. These are a lot more Star Trek-like. These are more, I don't know, what you would call it. And one thing about the Bungie games is that most of the faces of the other characters were taken from Bungie employees. So for example, this face right here was taken from Bungie employee Marcus Leto. That's something you can't say for the original, or for the new graphics. He has the same face too. They all have the same face. Okay, here, they actually did a good job here. Incorporating the original's lack of light, you know? Except here, for some reason, they neglected to, you know, program the light not to penetrate through the door here. Here's another thing I want to bring attention to. You see how the fire are sources of light here? Lights up the hallway, the dark, otherwise pitch black hallway realistically. Well, in Anniversary, they're reaching, like, where is that source of light coming from? It's like on the wall instead of over here. Like, look, the fire isn't lighting up this part of the wall at all, but yet it's like projecting its light to the wall here, so it just looks less realistic. So in general, good job. Good job to Saber Interactive, I believe it was. Reimagining these hallways here. No complaints there. Whenever I'm not complaining, just assume that I'm giving them points. Also, I think they did a really good job on these cover things. I don't know if they lifted them directly from Reach, but in the original they were very polygonal, very basic. But here they added a whole bunch of detail to it, and they did a really good job. Again, I don't know if these are directly lifted from Reach, but okay.
Sir, the captain needs you on the bridge ASAP. Better follow me.
I will compare the Marines, the Marine armor, as soon as we get to the end of here. Alright, so this is another part that I hate. Look at all the darkness here. There's no sources of light, so it's dark, you know? And here, where is all this light coming from? These little lights here? That's not enough to illuminate this entire area, I don't think. Why is there so much ambient light? It just makes everything look less believable. Also, there's that stupid fog again, and the fog glitch, which I just jump out of the area in which it renders or something, and it goes away. But other than that, actually, this would be a good place to compare Marines right now. Alright, so let's compare the Marine armor. Alright, so Halo CE's Marines were pretty basic. They are inspired from the, what was it, the Alien franchise Marines. So in Halo CE, they had some pretty basic armor, not very detailed, and looks just like they stuck some metal onto them. But it was pretty iconic. Iconic enough that the green eye piece came back in Reach. There's Marcus Lato's face again, by the way. I do like how the Marines in Halo CE actually wear a full bodysuit of armor that covers all of their major body parts and appendages. So let's compare this to CE Anniversaries, which was created by Bungie and lifted from Halo Reach. Alright, very good, very good. Only thing I don't like is how he now no longer has any forearm armor, and he doesn't have any shin armor anymore either. Also, his legs are just generally less protected. Also, good job at not fucking properly rendering his facial expression. But the green eyepiece is back. It doesn't have any of the scrolling details like before. But these Marines were reimagined from the Halo CE Marines in Halo Reach, so I think it makes sense to lift them all from Halo Reach. Only real problem I have with that is that they don't, unlike in Halo Reach, the Marine armor isn't randomly generated. So in Halo Reach, the Marines would have random pieces, random elements of armor on them. Like, for example, some Marines wouldn't have shoulder pads like this. Some Marines would have shin guards. Some Marines would have backpacks, and some of them wouldn't. Some would have like face guards. Some of their faces would be painted. Some of them would have these green eyepieces. Some wouldn't. Some would have like entire goggles on them. In Halo, these Marines don't have that. All of them have the same basic armor, so they're all like carrying these backpacks, which I guess kind of makes sense because in this game we're sort of fighting a guerrilla warfare on the Halo ring. Something kind of annoying though is that because of that, all of them are blood type 0, blood type O+. They're all the same blood type. But Marines look good nonetheless. I don't know about you, but I like my Marines in my Halo games to look like actual renditions of how our Marines could look in the future. And here's they actually did a good job at explaining away the darkness here, because they actually did add lights.
Captain Keyes is waiting for us, sir.
Okay, so this is something interesting. This billboard here, Told you a little bit about the world. It's confirmed that this is taking place in our universe. There's in the future. There's Earth. And told us a little bit about the Pillar of Autumn. And so I think they did a really good job here, and they updated the entire board with a bunch of new cool stuff. So special encore performance by ship's band Fist of the Unicorn. There's a band on this ship? Rockin' your Eridanus off. That's a star system in the Halo universe, I believe. Main hangar. Saturday, 1600 hours. And here's a little teaser for Halo 4, as indicated by the troll face here. Dark Planetoid Rising. Oh, actually, this is lifted from Halo 3, not from Halo 4. Have you seen my goose? He is missing. Reward offered. And he lays gold eggs. Work for hire. Any job, 2 weeks. Is easy. Cat found! I don't... if your cat looks like that, then you might need to get it checked out. If she's yours, call 714 dashed out. Notice to all crew members, all unit VTRs must be submitted for final approval by 0700 every Tuesday. Units VTR non-compliance will be subjected to additional review by French Inspector Major Camarano. I wonder if that's an actual character from the Flood novel. The novel that's an adaptation of this game. This notice will serve you as your final reminder. These Spartan models here are taken from Halo Reach, I believe. Defy the Covenant. So that's a really cool addition. Alright, now we're at the bridge. Something really cool they did here is that this chair is pulled out in the original as well, so they took the opportunity to put a terminal here. So I'm not going to be looking at the terminals, but the terminals are all these cool little lore expansions on the game, as told by 343 Guilty Spark, and fleshes out a lot more about the lore of this game and the backstory. And I don't know why, but there aren't as many terminal gadgets here as in the original. I don't know why. Also, look at that. Look at that. Do you see that? The buttons are clipping through the geometry there. They didn't really plan it out very well. They should have just gotten rid of that. Also, for some reason, they don't put the correct screens on the correct ones. They put the correct one here. They redid this screen, but they copied and pasted that one to over here when it has a different one. Look, this one looks like that. That shows all the Covenant, the Covenant's trajectory towards the ship. And I'm pretty sure I can find a remade version of that somewhere. Yeah, here. They remade it here. But they failed to put it where it actually is supposed to be. Instead, they just copied and pasted these to have the same screen. Look, it's right there too. I don't get it. It's just some weird changes. Okay. So here, come here, and we can look out to space here. So, do you see where the sun is? Do you see the sun and how it's casting light onto the gas giant in front of us? And that's where the light source is coming from. Well, if we switch over to Anniversary Edition, dude, they forgot to put the sun in. Are you kidding me? You could say that maybe it's out of view or something, but the fact that you can see the sun in the original and then it's not there anymore leads me to believe that they just forgot to put the sun in. That's kind of important to the well-being of a galaxy. I don't know about you. Also, look at this ring model. It's just like a small ring model directly outside the ship, like, I don't know, 15 feet outside the ship. It's really, you know, you could see that in the original graphics, but the windows were a lot more murky, so it was a lot harder to tell that it was just a ring model, like, right in front of the ship. But in the new graphics, it's a lot more conspicuous. That's a very small ring. Look, The Pillar of Autumn is extending over the ring. Also, your flashlight can actually reach outside. It's pretty neat. So the Pillar of Autumn's model, I think, was lifted directly from Halo Reach. They lift a lot of stuff from Halo Reach. That's a common theme. Once again, they're failing to put the right screens where they belong, even though they remade them. They did remake them. All. They just put them all in the wrong spots. And I don't know what this little area down here is supposed to be. If you kill the captain, and you get the Marines angry at you to swarm the bridge, I guess this is supposed to serve as a little hidey hole. Look, I can't see the sun. Where's the sun? There's no sun. They forgot to put the sun in. That's stupid. Also, in general, look at, like, it's not, you can't see it very well in new graphics because of the murky glass, but I hate how, like, busy space is in the Anniversary Edition. It's way too colorful. Look, it's kind of hard to tell, but in the original graphics, space was, you know, space. Very dark, very lonely. You know, you have the stars penetrating the darkness, but in general, it was, like, just very dark. You had the galaxy over there that you could look at, but it was still, space was still very lonely. But here, it's a fucking strobe party. Like, there's just way too much going on out in space here. And it wasn't like this in Halo Reach either, in the Pillar of Autumn cutscene. In Halo Reach, they actually managed to recapture the loneliness and blackness of space, but here, they just made it all purple and blue and green and lights and effects everywhere, and let's have a party out in space, y'all. Alright, so, let's initiate probably what is the worst cutscene in the Anniversary Edition, the worst made cutscene in the Anniversary Edition, so I'm going to be pointing out cinematography changes here.
Captain Keyes.
Okay, I'm pretty sure the camera was on the other side of Master Chief there.
Going well. Cortana did her best, but we never really had a chance.
A dozen Covenant superior battleships against a single Halcyon-class cruiser. With those odds, I'm content with 3. Make that 4 kills. Sleep well?
The camera was supposed to be up to her face during her entire spiel there, and then go to that angle.
Report!
It must have been one of their boarding parties.
The camera's supposed to be close to her face right now.
Ma'am, fire control for the main cannon is offline.
Captain, the cannon was my last offensive option.
All right, then. I'm initiating cold protocol Article 2. We're abandoning the Army. That means you too, Cortana.
While you do what? Go down with the ship?
Look, Cortana's animations are awful.
The object we found, I'm gonna try and land
I don't
the
know
Army.
why.
With all due respect, sir, this war has enough dead heroes.
Most of the time, Cortana just has this awkward posture where she's just standing around, whereas in the original, she would have her arms crossed or her hands on her hips. In here, she's just standing around.
Lock in a selection of emergency landing zones, upload them to my neural lace, and then sort yourself for a heart transfer.
Aye, aye, sir.
Which is where you come in, Chief. Get Cortana off this ship. Keep her safe from the enemy. If they capture her, they'll learn everything. Force deployment, weapons research, Earth.
I understand.
The Autumn will continue evasive maneuvers until you initiate a landing zone.
Why are you just standing there? Be sassy like Cortana's supposed to be. Also, she was way more animated in the original cutscene. She was like waving her hand around with her one hand on her hip, but here she's just standing.
Yank me.
And why was she having lip spasms there?
Good luck, Master Chief.
Your architecture isn't much different from the Autumn's.
Don't get any funny ideas.
I don't keep it loaded, so you'll have to find ammo.
So let's compare Captain Keyes' face. So I don't know if they took this model from his Halo Reach model. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, but
Get moving, Master
I don't
Chief.
think
There's nothing you can do here.
that surprises me that he would look this bad from a downward angle. He looks really weird. His outfit, though, is really good.
I gave you an order, soldier. Get off this ship.
So I think this screen is pretty similar. Trajectory FD Halo.
We need to get going, Chief. We need to get off the ship before it's completely overrun by Covenant.
So I think we've covered the bulk of the Pillar of Autumn now, so I think things will speed up quite a bit. We still gotta go over the weapons and enemies. Alright, so here we have the pistol. Let's defeat all these enemies first before we do anything.
Those Marines could use some help, Chief. Do what you do best.
Once again, playing on easy. And I must point out that the new sound effects don't have the same. They don't have the same feeling of oomph that the originals did. There's something repetitive about them. All right. So first, let's double back a bit and go over the weapons. All of that fog looks awful. Look, I can jump and then initiate a glitch that disables it. Looks normal, everything looks good, and then woo, we're in Silent Hill all of a sudden. Why is there fog? God damn. That's a pet peeve of mine in modern games in general. They have this weird distant fog that looks terrible. Okay, so assault rifle. This model was lifted from Halo 3, I believe. Now, the only problem with that is that Halo 3's assault rifle model is a different in-universe model. In Halo CE, it's the MA5B, and Halo 3, it's the MA5C. But they look similar enough. Only real problem I have with it is that you can't really see it here, but the barrel for this assault rifle is too much longer and not big enough. And this assault rifle's ammo counter is much shorter. But overall, not that big of a deal. But one thing that does annoy me about this assault rifle is... Okay, so I'm going to show the original's reloading animation. Looks normal, right? Well, pay attention to the clip. Pay attention to the clip and where we insert the clip. Look at that. The clip doesn't properly make contact with the chamber. That's because the model is different. Either the model is different or the clip isn't big enough. Isn't as big as it should be. Oh, look at that too. Okay, so you see that little pop out? The thing with the red light that pops out of the assault rifle? That's not a thing in the new assault rifle. It doesn't pop out of anywhere, it just comes out of the model. Look at that. It just comes out of nowhere. Okay, so for the pistol, this is Halo 3's model as well. And I think in Halo Combat Evolved, it was the MA5C, maybe? And then the Halo 3, it was the MA5D. I don't know, but they were different models anyway. I think so. Actually, they might have been the same. They just... I don't know. I do not know. Ignore me. So they're pretty similar. Pretty okay with them. Only thing is that Halo 3's model, its barrel is a lot bigger. That's especially evident whenever you melee attack. Also, the black triangle iron sights here isn't a thing in the newer one. Overall, pretty good though. Only problem I have with it is, okay, so whenever I pull it out, look at that. He cocks the gun, and you can see the inside of the gun, and you can see the bullet inside. Switch to new graphics. The inside of the gun is not modeled whatsoever. It's just a gray box. Laziness. Also, something interesting about the CE model is that the clip for this pistol is actually part of the handle itself, whereas in the new graphics, it's just a normal clip. I really wish they just remade their own models for all of these rather than stealing from Halo 3 and Reach. They did that for Halo 2 Anniversary, for the most part, from as far as I can tell. Anything else about these weapons? Nope. Okay. So the cafeteria here, good job on the cafeteria, I must say. We have the food and drinks here: turkey dinner, hamburger dinner, cheeseburger dinner, hot dog dinner, meatloaf dinner, chef's special. Then we have, what is that? Cola, lemonade, root beer, orange? Does that say orange? Well, in any case, they redid that entire thing here. So it's pretty cool. Only thing is, though, that under drinks, they have chef's surprise. Why? Chef's surprise under drinks. Do I really want to know what that is? Okay, so I don't think I'm going to get an opportunity to compare the elites up close. Well, maybe I will. Anyway, we have a plasma pistol here, so let's compare that. So here's Halo CE's model, and here is Halo Reach's model ported over to Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. I think it looks good. They added a little sight on the front of it. Good job overall. So here's when we charge it. And here's the anniversary charge. Something I like about this plasma pistol is that when you charge it up, the little circle there charges up too. Does the same thing in the anniversary. Good job on the plasma pistol. Let's compare the firing. Okay, so here's something I really liked about the plasma pistol in Halo CE. When I was really young in like really dark areas, I would actually use the plasma pistol as a flashlight, and it's actually pretty effective. The lighting the plasma pistol gives off is actually really nice. Very green. It's not as pronounced in the Halo Anniversary. Not as pronounced or detailed. Let's compare how it fires towards objects. So I think this is the best. I think for every plasma pistol shot after Halo CE, it gets progressively worse and less impressive looking. But here, it's like boom, big flash, big poof. See how it looks in the new graphics. Not nearly as impressive, is it? Here we have a big poof, and here we have a... Oh, also, while we're here, let's just examine some of the effects when you fire at the wall. So something I really like here is that they leave this like giant energy mark on the wall for a little bit. There's none of that. None of that here. They have this like little red dot and then it phases out. Whereas here, it like sticks on the wall for a while. It looks much more impressive in the original. Here, it's just like totally boring. Is there a plasma rifle anywhere? Okay. Oh, here we go. So here's the original's plasma rifle. Can overheat it. And let's compare it to the new one. Very nice. It is a very nice looking plasma rifle. The reflections on it are very nice. And something I really like that they've done since Halo 3 is that the Covenant stuff have this like hexagonal pattern on them. I don't know if you can see that. I really like that. Only thing I don't like is that there's no like plasma fire coming out of the exhaust things. See, like, look there. It's exhausting plasma, but in the newer version, it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. Look. Lazy. That's gonna be my catchphrase for this stream. Okay, let's try to compare live grunts. Why don't we? Let's kill you and kill you. And again, we'll have two live ones here. So here we have the little grunty grunts. So something that is unique to Halo CE that no other Halo game does is that the grunts have two different models no matter what rank they are. One has the curved methane tank, and one has the straight triangular methane tank. And also they also have different helmets too. I don't know why they got rid of that in Halo 2. I thought it was a really nice touch. The same thing for the elites, although it's not as pronounced. Actually, let's see if we can see if they'd have different helmets here. Yeah, see, this elite here has like a curved helmet, and then let's go look at the elite in the other corner over here, or this one. Oh, that one's face is all messed up. That's not going to be helpful.
Combat teams, Sierra through Victor. Prepare for evac.
This one's face is kind of messed up as well. We'll see it later. Oh, by the way, let's compare blood effects. So, unfortunately, they had to make it sort of realistic here, so you can't paint the entire environment with elite blood. Not nearly as fun, is it? Wow, there's significantly less blood in the newer version. Good job on the floor textures, though. Not really going to be going so much over textures unless there's a specific area where I do think it's actually worse. More so just the art. Alright, so let's compare those grunts. So let's compare this guy to his newer one. Now, unfortunately, they don't distinguish between the different versions of armor, which is a disappointment, but the different ranks of grunt do have different armor, unlike in this game. So these models are lifted directly from Halo Reach, and these guys are moving around quite a bit, but you know, they're good. They're good. They're basically the Halo Reach and Halo 3 art style, which brings a bit more consistency to their design, but these grunts are good. Good job on them. I suppose I'd rather you port over something from Halo Reach that worked than make something on your own that doesn't work. Alright, I'm gonna kill the Marines in the next area, and we can compare the elite. Alright, excuse me, sir. You three fucking die. There's no aim assist on the Marines, so it's hard to kill them. Alright, so let's compare this guy, this hunk here, to his original. Alright, so here is the original Halo CE Elite. These models are actually really consistent with the Halo 2 models. The design is basically the same between Halo CE and 2, only in Halo 2 they're a lot more higher fidelity. I'm gonna hide a bit so my shields can recharge. So I really like this Elite design. Very slender, very assassin-like, very noble. Like holy men. And then these elite models are lifted directly from Halo Reach. And right off the bat, what I don't like is that their armor is now a much more light shade of blue, rather than this royal blue. Royal, very sleek blue.
Two of us in here now, remember?
Also, hold on, here we go, hide. I just thought it would be a better idea to examine living specimen rather than dead bodies. So, look at his helmet. Look at how it points upwards. Like, one thing I really hate about Halo 2 and 1 Anniversary is that the elites look really much derpier in the newer version. Look at his helmet. It's just like his helmet is still like that spike shape, but it doesn't point upwards like this one, so it looks much less impressive. He looks much more derpy. I don't know, they look, even though their face is pretty goddamn scary, just from general appearance, they look a lot less sleek, slender, and skilled and cunning in this newer version. Also, their feet. Look at those feet. In the original, they had hooves. But now they have little feet. They have toesies. Let me examine. I want to examine the back of your armor. So if you could just. Okay. So I definitely do like the back of their armor much more. This design is really consistent between Halo 2 and 3, and the fact that they have different armor between these two games just creates some inconsistencies. So yeah, I like the elites in the original a lot more. I have infinite grenades, I just realized. Let's take a second to compare the frag grenades. Okay, so here are the frag grenades in the original.
Airlocks to attach their boarding craft. We go out and they come in.
Big fireball explosion that lights up the environment. And then here we are in the new version. I think it's a lot less impressive. It doesn't light up the environment the same way the CE grenades did. Though it's not that big of a deal. Also, the effect of the weapon and grenade effects are like multiplied depending on like how much they impact like one single area. So because I threw so many frags here, this area is now like completely dark, but here it doesn't add on at all. It doesn't like stack, if you know what I mean. Let's compare bullet effects. So pretty similar, although these look a lot, ironically these effects here look a lot more realistic. These just look like black dots. What about weapons lighting up the environment? Good. Okay, let's see if I can find two elites with different helmets so I can illustrate my point about different elite models. This one has the same curved helmet. There's an elite up ahead that I'll be able to compare. So let's compare the Covenant ship here. Pretty good. The overshields. Good job. Also, this is a one of the many graphical glitches that are in Halo CE Anniversary. So you see how there's explosion residue here over the airlock sign? Well, if we switch to Anniversary, it doesn't sort properly. So that looks dumb. Also, I don't know why these are gray in the new graphics, but these are red. Okay, here's another area where they did the darkness properly. Unfortunately, some stupid fog ruins it. And also, we have light sources that are coming from nowhere. Here we have, you know, some lights here that are a bit broken, not casting much light onto the environment. But here we have a flickering light that is coming from nowhere. And also, we have little particle effects that are not coming out of the light like before. So where is this light coming from? Okay, so this is one of the things that I was talking about earlier. So you see here, it's just a normal flashing, spinning light fixture thing. Well, in the new graphics, they're just like two floating blocks. What's up with that? I think they did model it properly. They just put it too far up into the ceiling, or they just like added that weird block so it covers the model. Very strange. Otherwise, good job. A lot more bloody. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. See, this elite has a much different helmet than the other one. His helmet is straight rather than the curved helmet we saw before. So the same principle that I talked about for the elites before are also true for the elites. Or the principle I talked about with the grunts before. See how they have different armor? Well, it's the same for elites as well. It's just a lot less present. I used to think back in the day that the differences in armor were actually meant to denote the gender of the elites. So back in the day, I thought that the straight armored elites were male and that the curved armor elites were female. I don't think that's the case. This one is a curved helmet, see? I don't know why they never did that in the other Halo games. Or at least in Halo 2. Here we have a Major Grunt. Hold on, let me see if I can find another one. I'm playing on easy now, so Major Grunts are going to be a lot more rare. Okay, I think that's all we got to work with. So, something I did like that they did, like Halo Reach, the Covenant's armor changes based on their rank, not just color. In the original Halo CE, Major Grunts were red. Had red armor, but they actually have much different armor in Halo CE, which I actually like. And you can't see it now, but the Major Grunts actually have a moving part on their armor that always stays moving. I don't like how they got rid of so many dark areas, because it kind of gave the feeling that the ship is sort of falling apart, and parts of the lights were starting to stop warping. Let's see if I can find a better Major Grunt specimen. Yeah, there's one in the back there. Let's just keep him alive. Alright, so here we get a good look at the Major Grunts. They have much different armor than the Minor Grunts. So here's the moving part I was talking about. It's always moving, even if they're dead. So I think we're mostly finished with stuff that matters on the Pillar of Autumn. Look at that fog. It's most evident here. It just ruins the atmosphere. So here we have, they're both have white suits, but here, one is orange, one is blue. Lazy. Another dark area that they lit up for some reason.
Covenant, on the landing above us.
I don't know why there's a big orange reflection on the wall here.
Does anyone see him?
Oh, now we can compare Johnson directly. Fun fact, Johnson is the only Marine in Halo CE that doesn't have shoulder pads, but in the remastered version he does for some reason. I don't think he had shoulder pads in the fucking cutscene. So why he has them here, I don't know. But he does have a hat, at least. He kind of looks like Mario, though. He looks very sad. Johnson, why are you so sad? In the original, he's very angry, but here he's very sad. Look at him. He's just heartbroken for some reason.
Ease up, son. Try aiming that weapon. Cut it out, soldier.
They're a lot more bulky.
Oh, hey.
This guy's Asian in the original, but here he's a white guy. This game is discriminatory.
Clean your visor. Hey. It's me. Gah! Do I owe you money?
You hear that voice changing effect that I was talking about earlier? His voice is deeper. Oh, we have a plasma grenade, so let's compare grenades again. So nothing special, pretty early console graphics for a plasma grenade. So let's compare it here. I would prefer it to be bigger, but pretty good anyway. It doesn't light up the environment like it did before. It doesn't have that effect on the environment. I have no idea why it's so freaking bright in here. Like, each of these little airlocks here have, like, their own mini sun in them. Also, they failed to put the numbers. The numbers on these. Or at least on that one. I don't know why. Oh, here's another color that I didn't see. Brown. So they can all the crewmen have so many different colors of costumes or of uniforms, but in the anniversary they're all white. Boring. I think I might actually be yellow, I'm not sure. And then the magical fog returns, lighting up the ship as if it were a cave. Here we have realistic indoors environment, and here we have... Good job on the shield, though. Also, Anniversary Edition has this weird outlining of the environment, and when it's really, really dark, that'll become a lot more apparent when we get into the maintenance access ways. Look! Look! Dark hallway, bright as day. Why? Once again, there's no sun. Why? Also, why is space so freaking bright?
The life pods are launching. We should hurry. Destroying the life pods. They really don't want us on that ring.
So there's something really disappointing that I really wish they did in the Anniversary Edition of this game. So the ship is supposed to be under attack by Covenant ships, right? Well, then why did you not take this opportunity to put a bunch of Covenant ship models around the ship? Or, like, animate the outside of the ship flying around. You could have got really ambitious with this, but no. You continue to stay held back by the limitations of this game, even though that was the entire point of this game, to not do that, to not be held back by them. Oh, I picked up the health pack. I meant to look at that. In the original, there's a red cross, but in the newer version, there's a red H, and that's because the red cross is actually trademarked, copyrighted, I think. It was the same way in Halo Reach.
Warning, blast doors closing. We have to use the ship's maintenance access ways. Follow the nav point, it will lead you to an opening.
Also, there are no confetti at the birthday party skull in the original. Not surprising, considering the original didn't have skulls. Okay, so pay attention to the fog. Do you see the fog? That dreaded fog I hate so much? It's in the access ways. You can see it in the access ways. Well, when we walk into the access ways, it disappears! We're gonna walk out, walk back in, walk out, walk in, out, in. That looks awful. Why does it even exist? I hate you. Okay, so here are the access ways in the original. Almost pitch black with these little lights up here that teach you to use your flashlight. Well, in the... Look at how it looks in the Anniversary Edition. Now, ignore the fact that it's a bit brighter. Look at the weird, like, outlines of the environment. I have a feeling this is like a lighting glitch. Why are all the edges of the environment, like, outlined here? Look, here, it looks normal. And here we have these weird lighting glitches that are permeating, like, the edges of the geometry.
I'm detecting Covenant movement
Look,
outside the access
you can see it
ways.
most
Activating
often,
motion
more
tracker. Let's find a safe
obviously
exit.
here. Might be hard to see on stream, but it's definitely obvious to me, and it's kind of annoying. Otherwise, good job. One weird thing, though, is that they replaced the grating of the accessway's doors and replaced it with glass.
We're too close. We need to find another route. Motion tracker shows all clear. Wait. We need to get to that door, but it's been damaged by an explosion. Analyzing. The door's control mechanism is offline.
Alright, so look at this. There's light coming from nowhere. In the original, there wasn't any light coming from nowhere. Just like some sparks coming out of the ceiling. But here, there's this weird patch of light. And we have that same problem with the mechanism clipping into that block on the ceiling. So generally, the original is lit pretty realistically, but in the Anniversary Edition, it's just ambient lighting up the ass. You know, lights in the original actually had light sources. Here, it's like the default state of the map is that it's lit, and then they have to manually go in and put in black spots. Here, though, it seems like the engine actually the engine is like, I don't know if it actually works this way, but it seems like the engine is actually working to where it's dark in its natural state and it needs lights to actually light it up. I don't know if it actually works that way, but that's how it seems. Ugh, that fog, it's disgusting. That'll become significant, much less of a problem with the rest of the game. Look at that! God damn, we're not in a fucking cavern. You need to hold your horses and actually try to make it look a little realistic.
Combat teams, Sierra through Victor.
So no, yeah, even though, you know, all this added detail is really nice, this looks like more of a believable world than this. Purely because of, you know, what I said before. Lack of ambient lighting in here and lack of stupid distant fog. This looks more believable than this to me. Not saying this doesn't look nice. Because it does. Added detail is really nice. Also, for some reason, they took the door model for these walls. So whenever you come across walls like these, they'll use a door model, except without any of the lights on the wall here. I don't know why. So here's a really fun little Easter egg that they added in. A little lore-related Easter egg. So here we have a little diagram of the Master Chief, just some of the generic buttons and screens on the wall that we've seen throughout the entire ship. Well, in the remastered version, they went out of their way to put some lore references. This is a reference to the novel of, what was it? The Flood and the First Strike novels? So, canonically, Master Chief is in Cryo 2, which was here, and Linda is supposed to be, Linda, another one of the Spartans, is supposed to be in Cryo 1, which is sealed off here. She's supposed to be, like, fatally injured, and she's in stasis right now. So I think that was a really nice attention to detail. I just wish they added a bunch of Covenant ships outside the Pillar of Autumn to make it feel like we're actually surrounded. I actually like how they added shutters here. instead of just a black thing. Actually, I think this is glass. There's just, you know, a black block behind it. Here it's actually shutters. Very nice. So here's another lighting glitch that you can do. If you crouch here, you can get rid of the lighting. Just crouch. See? Look how much more realistic that looks. Look how much better that is. And then... it looks dumb. Once again, the original did not have that fog. Thanks, April. So here we're getting into a very badly damaged part of the ship. So I think they did a good job showing the damage to this place. Very scorched and ripped apart. Once again, the fire's not actually lighting up the environment in the new graphics, whereas here in the old graphics it is.
The damage to the superstructure is extensive. I don't know how much more abuse the Autumn can take.
Yep, we get into the place again, and the fog disappears. Here's another thing that is annoying. Alright, so here we're in this part of the little access tunnel, and it looks normal, and then... where's that light coming from? Where's that light coming from? So weirdly enough, the fire doesn't light up the parts that it's supposed to, but it penetrates the wall where it's not supposed to reach. That light is supposedly coming from the fire on the other side. Oh, now it's actually lighting up the environment. Here it is, but it's not over here. So the fire, unlike in the original, the fire in the original seems to have its own lighting effects attached to it. Here they seem to have to implement the fire and the lighting coming from the fire separately. So here they actually did it right. The fire is actually protecting the light, like in the original, but there they just like neglected to put in the separate lighting. And here it's penetrating the wall where it should. Look. Oh, something I did a good job on, actually, is that the light from the shield actually, the environment reacts to the light on the shield. Good job on that. Oh, they neglected to put in a sign for the maintenance tunnel here. Oh. Music just cut out for some reason. Why is the music cutting out? They put it... What the fuck? They put a sign for the maintenance tunnel here, where it wasn't previously. They switched where the maintenance sign is supposed to be. Wow. Very strange.
There's one last lifeboat. Quickly, get aboard before it launches.
Not yet, Cortana.
I knew there was one on board.
Alright, so it looks like that's it for the Pillar of Autumn. Now, this the criticism I talked about with the lack of them adding Covenant ships outside the ship is most apparent in this cutscene where they had the most freedom to do so. So this cutscene here is probably the most lazy one in the game.
Oh no! Oh no! Ah!
Now would be a very good time to leave.
Master Chief's mocap here does not look very good. Look, for the pilot, they didn't even bother making a separate pilot model. They just reused the Halo 3 Marine model. Alright, look. There's no Covenant ships around the ship. That wasn't there. They weren't there in the original either, but they should have taken the opportunity here to add a bunch of Covenant ships out in space attacking the Pillar of Autumn. Also, where is that yellow light coming from? Yeah, see, here you can see just how busy and overly colorful space is. Also, they changed the Halo Ring's, like, outer shell to be much more lit up and complicated, which I don't think that was necessary. Especially since in Halo 2 Anniversary, they stayed true to Bungie's original design. See? Here, like, the torpedoes coming towards the ship look worse in the Anniversary Edition because they didn't bother animating any explosion effects, where they did have those in the original. Alright, so this level should be much more interesting to compare. What's my ranking on the Pillar of Autumn? Well, I'm gonna give the Pillar of Autumn an 8 out of 10. Maybe a 7 out of 10 if I let the fog get to me. But the Pillar of Autumn, good effort, good effort. Good job on the Pillar of Autumn. I might just, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 actually, because the cutscenes for it were bad.
Chief? Chief, can you hear me?
Okay, so that's where the lights were coming from.
Are you alright?
Gotcha.
Can you move?
The lights were flickering in the cutscene, although they're not supposed to be flickering. They're supposed to be flickering here, but they were flickering in the cutscene as well, when in the original they weren't. So look, they just reused the Halo 3 Marine model for the pilot's model here. That's lazy. Alright, so
Yeah, there's the impact.
landing on the Halo ring. The art style's still good to look at today. And it looks gorgeous in the Halo Anniversary Edition. They added tons of details to the mountains here. For areas that you don't go, they have lots and lots of freedom to really flesh out the environment by adding a bunch of flora and new structural, new geometry and textures to it. Because you're never going to be able to go up there, so they have freedom to do whatever they want. But one thing I thought when I played the game that this was supposed to be sunrise, not sunset. Also, hey, you didn't forget the sun this time. Also, look at the sun here. It's actually in the correct location that it was in the Pillar of Autumn level. You know, it was on that side of the gas giant when we were on the Pillar of Autumn. So, nice consistency on Bungie's part. So I thought this was supposed to be sunrise, but Anniversary makes it look like sunset. Don't you think it looks more like sunrise? Because in real life, sunrise generally has less light pollution and less, like, you know, colorful skies than sunset does. So this looks more like sunrise to me, because it's a lot more simple, whereas here, you can see there's a lot more light pollution. One thing I don't like about these graphics, though, is that, okay, look. In the original, the sky is, like, just nice and blue, nice and, you know, dusk or dawn, whichever you prefer, I guess. But here in the Anniversary Edition, there's this weird gradient that goes from the lower parts of the sky to the higher parts of the sky. It's very obvious if you, like, watch it in 1080p at full screen. There's this weird gradient. Whereas here, it's just consistent. Here, it just looks weird. What is that? It's like a weird... There's like a weird brown streak in the sky. I don't know what that is. I do think that light looks a bit more wondrous in the original because it's like a star as it goes further up. Whereas here it doesn't really change like that. One thing is actually noticeably different is that here it has more of a blue and green color scheme because looks more like sunrise, I guess. Here it's a lot more orangish and peachish. Not necessarily worse. I just wish they kept the blueness to it. But I think overall it looks beautiful. Good job. Lifeboat itself. Good job on the lifeboat. So let's examine the skybox between them. So in the original, it's very, very basic. Water effects were good for their time, but still very basic. You know, it looks nice and all. So let's compare it to the Anniversary. Ooh, very nice. Very nice skybox. Water looks great here. The sun reflects off the water very beautifully. So overall, good job. Now here is kind of weird.
Alert.
So I think
Dropship inbound.
this little bridge here is supposed to be like the skeleton of the environment, if you know what I mean. Because the ring is artificial, so the environment is like built with like these skeletal parts built around these. I think they mistook this like skeletal part for like a literal bridge because they added lights to it. They added lights and the textures that Bungie usually uses on Forerunner structures to it. Whereas before, I think this is just meant to be like the skeleton of the environment, not an actual bridge. Although they did add pipes down to that one. So yeah. I think they mistook this for an actual bridge rather than the skeleton of the land. So the Banshee models are carried over from Halo Reach. I don't know why they didn't use the Halo 3 models, which looks great. But whatever. Didn't get a good look at the Covenant dropship. They did a good job actually making the trees have wind physics. The original had that, albeit very little, but the new version, they improved upon that. Oh, he has a needler. This is a good opportunity to compare them. Look at how much detail they added to the mountains. Great job. Also, the grass. Good job on the grass. Adding more just flora everywhere. Alright, let's compare the needler. So here's the original. And here's the new one. I think this one is carried over from Halo Reach as well. It still looks very good. Let's find an enemy to use it on. You notice how the Needler's needles actually have animated effects in them? The newer version doesn't have that. Or at least it's not as conspicuous. You can see it very, very little. There's a little bit of effects, but it's not as conspicuous. Okay, let's use it. Very beautiful effect. It's kind of like a frag grenade, but pink. So let's see how it looks in the newer version. Not as big as I would like. It's a little too smoky, I think. Not bright enough. But still, pretty satisfying. I'm just gonna use the needler, especially since we have infinite ammo. So let's go over to that waterfall. The water effects look very nice in the newer version. They did a good job, actually, making new textures for the pond here, because in the original, you can kind of see it. It's just grass under the water. Whereas here, they actually modeled some rocks, or not modeled, but textured. So here we have the waterfall. So weirdly enough, even though they upgraded the game to 60 FPS, they didn't properly upgrade this waterfall animated texture to 60 FPS. It's still 30 FPS. Although you can't tell, because I'm streaming in 30 FPS. You can also find another skull over here. I don't know, it's somewhere here. So let's test out the effects that the weapons have on the water. Alright, so let's throw a frag. Alright, so in the original there was no effect. Although I'm pretty sure later water in the game does have explosion effects on them. I think in 343 Guilty Spark, if you throw a grenade in the water, it does have an effect. So let's see what effect it has in the newer version. Ooh, very nice. Good job. They even added a splash effect for when the frag grenade lands in the water. So the original doesn't even have an effect on the water. Here it does. It does. Alright, nice. Objective improvement. Let us continue on. Oh, also, another change that I like. In Halo CE, even though all the Covenant vehicles exploded in blue plasma in the later Halo games, in Halo CE, all the Covenant vehicles explode in orange. But in Halo Anniversary, they do explode in blue. Tree textures are a lot thinner than what the model actually is. That can lead to some problems when you're trying to shoot precisely. God damn, that tree model is really much thinner than it needs to be. Ah! If you fire at dead bodies, it will detonate them. Oh god, look. Look, you have rocks that fly out of the environment in the original, and dirt that flies up. Does that happen in the newer one? If it does, it's not nearly as pronounced. Look, you have bits of the environment flying out and dirt, and then here. Just a little bit. I can't really tell if it's just the grenade effects or they actually redid those effects. Halo Anniversary 1 does have some bad pop-in, though, in some areas. Especially with the lighting
I'm
and
reading
shadows.
a lifeboat beacon over the next hill. We should check to see if there are any survivors.
So I don't know if they lifted these dropship models from Halo Reach either, or if they redid them. They probably had to redo them because the models for the Halo Reach dropships were different. Wouldn't have worked. Yeah, this weird effect to the inside of the tower here.
Good to see you, sir. Welcome to the party.
It's a mess, sir. We're scattered all over.
So why did they add fog to the fucking Pillar of Autumn, but they didn't add that fog to the actual outdoors level? Makes me think it was just like an oversight or a mistake. Look at that lighting glitch, by the way. So they added a lot more detail onto these environments here, which were previously really blocky. They actually did a good job carrying over Bungie's style of Forerunner texturing. So I think the towers in this area are actually supposed to represent the firing mechanisms for the Halo ring.
Look sharp! Covenant dropship on approach! I could use some help over here!
They did a good job representing the path that the ship crashed through. We haven't found a major elite yet for me to compare, because the major elites actually have different armor.
That's the way you do it. Find him.
Another bandit dropping in behind us! They're trying to flank us!
Whenever it fires, there's like this big puff of smoke. Was that in the original? Let's wait and see. Kind of. Yep, Extreme, I did cover that. So we're gonna get a Warthog soon, and then we can compare those.
This is Pelican Echo 419. Anybody reading me? Repeat. Any UNSC personnel respond. Roger, Echo 419. This is Fire Team Charlie. We read you. Is that you, Fohammer?
So I'm pretty sure the Pelican model is also lifted from Halo Reach.
Fohammer, we need transportation to the command shuttle.
Or at least the
I'm on my
textures. I don't know if the model's actually
More
the same.
lifeboats. They're coming in fast. If those lifeboats make it down, the Covenant are going to be right on top of them.
Fohammer, we need you to disengage your Warthog. The Master Chief and I are going to see if we can save some soldiers. Roger, Cortana. Okay, Charlie Team, Warthog deployed. Saddle up and give them hell. Roger, Fohammer. Stand by to evac survivors and transport them to safety. That's affirmative. Echo 419 staying on station. Fohammer out. The Master Chief and I need some backup. Can you spare a few men?
So here, the cockpit was just a texture, but they actually modeled the cockpit here. You can get on top of it.
Ready to roll! Let's roll!
No, come back. Well, once again, they just took the Halo 3 model for the Marines and put it on Fohammer. Okay, so I'm pretty sure the Warthog model is from Halo Reach as well. Much, much better than the Halo 2 Anniversary Warthog, anyway. Ooh, nice lighting effect on it. Nice light reflection effects. Reminds me of Halo 3. It had great lighting and lighting effects.
We need that Warthog if we want to get to the other lifeboats.
Oh yeah, there are actually two different types of Marines in Halo's Combat Evolved. One of them are the armored normal Marines, and the other are the under-armored Marines. The ones that look like they just got together in a hurry. Let's compare these guys. This guy will stand still. Where's he going? So in the Anniversary Edition, they did a pretty good job. They have a lot less plating on their body. They don't have the shoulder pads or the thigh pads, or the backpacks or the helmets. But they still do have the body armor. The thing about Halo CE that I don't understand why they got rid of is it showed your passenger's health. I can fall through the geometry there. That didn't account for the players going there. There's actually fog down here. Do you see that? There's actually a fog effect down here, and it makes sense because we're in like the bottom of a chasm. But in the Anniversary Edition, they failed to put fog where there's actually supposed to be fog. So great job on that.
Survivors will probably stick close to their emergency beacons. We need to find where the lifeboats landed. This cave is not a natural formation. Someone built it, so it must lead somewhere.
See, it actually makes sense to have fog here, because it's like a part of the environment. See if they actually did.
Into the Covenant battle network. They're actually broadcasting tactical data on unencrypted
Look,
channels.
it's all foggy and murky in the original, like it should be, because it's a cave,
Master Chief,
albeit
I'm
an
going to use
artificial
your
one,
transcom
in the
system
environment.
to monitor their
But
chatter.
here, like, look at how fucking bright it is. Why did they add a bunch of fucking dumbass lights everywhere? Look at how dark and foggy it is with the little bit of the blue lights making it look all spooky and everything. Look. And then here, what the fuck is that? Like, where's my atmosphere, Saber? Where's my atmosphere? What happened to my atmosphere? Why is it so fucking bright? There's another terminal, by the way. They actually put these terminals in pretty logical locations. They actually went through the game and decided what spots would make interesting places for terminals. It's funny that this interesting, pointless little alcove that Bungie made actually found purpose in the re-release of this game. Like, look, this is all just ambient lighting. There's no logical light source for why this place should be glowing blue. Those little lights down there in the corner aren't enough to make this entire place glow blue. Here, there's actual light sources. It kind of baffles me that Bungie back in 2001 had a more comprehensive indoor lighting system than in fucking 2011, the re-release of this game. Although here they actually do have light sources, albeit ones that ruin the atmosphere. Okay, so, look, there is fog here, where there's supposed to be, but what the fuck? There's a little bit of fog, but not enough. You shouldn't be able to see all the way to the end of the environment from here. There needs to be a little bit more fog than that. I mean, it's not like we're on the Pillar of Autumn, where there shouldn't be fog. We're in like a chasm underground. Or not a chasm, but like a, I don't know what you would call it, a cavern. So generally, just way too many fucking lights. Like, look, do you see any lights on the ground here? No, they're just everywhere. It's a fucking strobe party.
Here comes more! There. Oh, yeah!
Like, look, what is supposed to be lighting up this area over here? Those lights up there? Well, I guess you could say that, but in the original, there was only one light going down the main path. Here, it's logically dark. Here, it's just bright, like ambient light. It's all glowing blue. Oh, I haven't compared the jackals yet. I should probably kill these guys so I can actually examine them. See? Look at this. It inspires a feeling of awe, mystery, wonder, and abandonment. It's all spooky. Who was this ancient civilization? And here it's just like way too lit up. It's not the same atmosphere as the original. And the fog here is much more prominent than the fog here. It reaches much further up. Also, they added these things that you can just clip through. I'm gonna leave you guys up here so I can go look at the jackals. So just like the other Covenant in the game, the jackals have their own unique models. There are 2 jackal models in this game. This is the basic one, the one that doesn't have much. That doesn't have a helmet or a any armor. Here it is, how they look in the newer version. I think these are lifted from Halo Reach. One thing I like about the jackals in this game is actually I think the jackals are the most varied Covenant in the game, because I think they can have both dark skin and orange skin. Here they're just both orange skinned though. Alright, so let's look at the other one. See? This one looks different. It has a helmet on. And it has orange skin too. But here, there's no helmet, and they both have orange skin. Like, why? Why do you have to ruin that? Also, I think the shields are a bit too covering than in the original. They should be a bit more translucent. Once again, this is the only Halo game that features the black-skinned jackals and the orange-skinned jackals. And also ones that have helmets and ones that don't. That is until the skirmishers came along, which Halo Reach pretty much fixed these problems that I said. Halo Reach had like a bunch of different variations on the Covenant models. Covenant were great in that game. I just don't understand why they added so many lights on the ground when they don't really do anything. They're not actual light sources like they were in the original.
Want some more of this? Nice shot.
Also, they added these broken textures on top of these ramps because I guess they didn't suspect that players could actually get up here, but they can. They added this texture here that doesn't actually have any geometry to it. It just looks bad. It looks good from a distance. It looks okay from a distance, but once you actually get up close to it, it's just a flat texture. No actual geometry to it. Oh, we found Red Elite, finally. Let's compare. So the Red Elites in this game just are basically recolors of the Blue Elites, but in the Anniversary Edition, they have their own unique model, which is very nice. I think this model comes from... Who does this model belong to in Halo Reach? Does it belong to the Ultras? I don't know. But it's nice that they have their own model in this game. Also, look at the lights here. Look at this. This is just pure laziness. The light here has its own texture and everything, and it's just like a fucking square here. It looks terrible. What is that? They're just fucking squares of light.
must be some mechanism to
They did add a lot of
process
detail to the walls
Look
here,
for
which
a
is
control
nice.
panel or switch.
Although you can't actually go in here into these little alcoves. So they actually stayed really faithful to these panels here. It is really nice, though, that they did take the effort to actually remake Bungie's classic Forerunner textures that you find all over the place. Like, the textures you see on the floor here are like the designs that Bungie would use for all the Forerunner structures, and that one over there. It is good that they actually remade those rather than making a completely new texture or designed texture. I mean, the texture is new, but it's the same design, if you know what I mean. Here, see? See? You can see they're actually the same design. They're flipped around, though. Let's test the particle effects here, or whatever you want to call it.
There's new traffic on the Covenant battle network. A lot more crew made it off the Autumn than I had predicted. The captain really gave them hell. If we can find Captain Keyes and the other survivors, we have a chance to coordinate an effective resistance.
The tunnel here is a lot more lit up, so it makes a lot more sense for it to be lit up in the Anniversary Edition. I don't know why they didn't do what Halo 3 did. So, like, if this were Halo 3, us emerging from the tunnel there would elicit like a lens, not a lens flare, but like a flare effect that would die out as you came outside. I wish they did that, because in Halo 3 that was really nice. It simulated your eyes adjusting to the sunlight. They put the sun a lot lower in the sky in the newer version. Halo 4 lens flare simulator, exactly. Despite some problems I may have with Halo Anniversary and Halo 2 Anniversary, Certain Affinity knows what they're doing a lot more in the art department than 343 does.
Lifeboat detected. No
Also,
sign
look
of
at that.
survivors.
There's something, just a little bit of realism. Whenever water is in like fast motion like this, it goes a lot more like, I don't know, distilled white. Here it doesn't really do that. It doesn't have that effect, where the water is rushing down. It just sort of stays the same. Also, why is there a grass texture in the middle of the water here, rather than a rock texture? Ooh, now we can compare the sniper rifle. Alright, so here's the original sniper rifle. The scope doesn't look exactly functional, does it? But here it is. The scope is like a very just rectangular, I guess you would say. And let's compare it to the new one. So this model is from Halo Reach, I believe, and it actually does have show the environment. Albeit it's very dark and green. You can barely see much of the environment. Do you see the, he doesn't properly touch the little lever there on the gun. Because it's placed a lot further up than in the original model. See? See where the lever is placed? So it creates this sort of little inconsistency in the animation. I think the sniper rifle model is a little too busy for my liking. But it's still nice. I think I prefer the Halo 3 model. Oh, we haven't seen that part of the skybox yet. Let's go over there. Well, I think we have. Just not this far. It looks like a desert for some reason. Why is there a desert? Looks very deserty. I wonder if we can see the edge of the map if we go far enough. Once again, it looks a lot more like sunset than it does with sunrise, doesn't it? Alright, good. I can't see the edge of it.
Maybe they took cover in that structure. Let's check it out. We should search the interior of those structures before
The
we
light
leave.
fixture here actually does a better job at lighting up the environment than the other one did. Than the classic one did. So same model for the tower. So I think these were supposed to be pipes in the original. And I don't know if they're the same thing in the new version. What is it with those textures? Why are the textures here so bad? Got to pick up the sniper rifle, but who cares? Hate how they didn't redo the different variations of the Covenant there could be. They're all the same.
We should search the interior of those structures before we leave.
I lost him. I'll find the bastard. I got nothing. I'll clear over here.
Sometimes it kind of gets hard to tell what's the remastered version and what's the original. Good job on making this underground area a lot more visually interesting, though, while still maintaining that Bungie art style. Oh good, I haven't been blocked. Nope, I would never block you, Jacob. Also, the grenades in this game, I think they have a lot bigger models than... Oh no, they don't! They actually sized down the Halo Reach model. If you guys have played Halo Reach, you would know that the grenades in Halo Reach are freaking huge. They're pineapples. But here, they actually sized it down to the size it's supposed to be. To the frag grenade. They still use the Halo Reach model when I wish they used the regular fragmentation grenade model. Area is not clear, Cortana. Where's that grunt? There he is. Goofy thing.
Echo 419 to Cortana, come in.
We read you, Echo 419. We have survivors and need immediate dust-off.
Roger, Cortana. On my way. I've spotted additional life forms in your area. One near a rock slide, and another near the head of the river. Hard to see from my altitude, but it looks like there are...
So, with my grading here, I think it's going to lose... a level loses points based on how different it is in, like, you know, feel, tone, emotional response. If it actually is objectively better, or if it has those annoying little things like the fog and the pillar bottom. And it's also graded based on how good the cutscenes are, how good the remastered cutscenes are. So it's looking like this one will get an 8 out of 10, this level. It loses a point because here it's a lot more like sunrise, here it's a lot more like sunset. All they really had to do was tone down the peachy color tone here and make it more neutral bluish. And the underground Forerunner section had way too much lights, way too many lights, way too much ambient light, and was also didn't have enough fog in a lot of areas. So that loses it 2 points. I don't know if it can make up those points at this stage. See how the explosion is orange in the original and it's blue in the remastered version? That's good.
There's some Marines hiding in the hills above the structure.
Some more? Oh. Oh. Cover fire. Showtime.
I believe the under-armored Marines have less health than the armored Marines, which makes sense.
There it is.
What? Did they add a fence there? Good job. Good job. No. Good job. Good job. Good job not actually fucking... They copied the textures from every other tower, but they forgot to delete this part of the texture. Where there shouldn't be there shouldn't be any railing here. They did it here too. Look. I mean, it's an understandable mistake, but they should have taken a closer look at it. It actually is here in the other version. That part of the tower. But not over there.
Wow, it's taller than I thought. You're a sight for sore eyes, Chief. We're in a bad way.
I'll call in a dropship to pick them up.
Here comes more!
Echo 419 to Cortana. Foehammer's on station and ready for another pickup. Affirmative, Foehammer. We're ready for dust-off. Approach when ready. We're going to look for the last lifeboat, Echo 419. Good luck.
The dead bodies in Halo 1 have this creepy effect where they'll sometimes die with their mouths wide open like that. Doesn't happen in the original though. Or it doesn't happen in the Anniversary Edition though. So I don't think there's too much left of significance in the Anniversary Edition.
Warning. I picked up reports that the Covenant has located
It's a
and
little
secured
too
the
bright
bottom's
in this
crash
tunnel
site.
section here.
The good news is the captain is still alive. The bad news is that the Covenant has captured the entire surviving command crew. Let's hurry and find the final lifeboat so we can link up with the rest of the survivors.
Look at how peachy and
Survivors
orange it is
detected.
compared to the original.
Remains are concealed in those
It was
rocks.
more blue.
Incoming! More over here! He's not over here! That'll teach him. Let's find him. Going after him. Go, 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 go!
Pure nightmare fuel. Also, whenever Covenant fire their weapons, they create a glow effect around them in the original. The light of their weapon glows around them whenever they fire. That's much, much less pronounced in the Anniversary version.
Whoa! There it is. Check me out. Covering fire! Whoa! You like that? Which side's that first?
One thing I don't like about Halo Anniversary's dumbed down blood effects is that there's no longer as much blood splatter whenever you splatter an enemy, which was one of the most fun parts about splattering enemies in this game.
Covenant Battlenet. I found Captain Keyes. He's being held on a Covenant cruiser, the Truth and Reconciliation, a ship I disabled before we abandoned the Autumn. The Truth and Reconciliation touched down on a desert plateau roughly 300 kilometers upspin.
We can get a good look at the Pelican.
There's our ride. Get aboard and let's get out of here.
Welcome aboard, Master Chief. Ready for dust
Pretty
off.
nice. The seats don't look quite as comfortable as in the original, but hey.
What were you thinking? Cavalry! Don't die! That's good, then. Hell! Kill that armored freak!
They're not actually aiming at me.
You want some more? Nice job!
Ow! Ow! I can't actually get in the Pelican.
That'll do it!
Hello, Theodore. I'm gonna have to kill them all before they get on the Pelican. Look at that lighting glitch on the mountain.
Roger that. I'm on my way.
New traffic on the Covenant Battlenet.
Look at that.
We found Captain Keyes.
That's
Being
inexcusable.
held on a Covenant cruiser, the Truth and Reconciliation, a ship I disabled before we abandoned the Autumn. The Truth and Reconciliation touched down on a desert plateau roughly 300 kilometers upspin. There's our ride. Get aboard and let's get out of here.
I'm pretty sure in Halo CE the Pelican the Pelican itself never turns on you. It's really fun hearing their dialogue whenever you betray them. You should hear Noble Team's dialogue whenever you betray Marines in that game. Everything is wrong with me. Oh, the mission ended for me.
We should move out, Lieutenant, and then we'll need your help on a rescue.
So I'm pretty sure the end and beginning cutscene are the exact same. They have the exact same camera movements and everything. So 8 out of 10 for that level. Loses a point because of the peachy color scheme. And loses a point because the underground Forerunner section had some problems. Wasn't dark enough, didn't have enough fog. Alright, but that's going to do it for this stream, actually. I just wanted to compare 2 of the levels. Maybe we'll pick this back up on a later date. But I have some things to do, so I guess we're going to end it here. Just wanted to go into a bit of depth and explain the anniversary editions here. Overall, anniversary editions are definitely appreciated, even if they do have some shortcomings. Those shortcomings really don't mean much of anything in the long run when they give you the ability to switch back and forth between the graphics. All anniversary editions should follow that same model, I think. If games don't have anything wrong with their gameplay, don't remake them. Just give them a fresh coat of paint, and then give you the option to switch back and forth between them. I think that's the perfect formula for these remasters to follow. That's gonna do it for this stream, you guys. So I will see you all next time whenever I do something, whatever that something may be. I don't know. So we are gonna do that whenever I do it. Thanks everybody for coming, and I had a lot of fun comparing and contrasting graphics here. Hopefully we can do it again in the future. So yeah, love you all. Peace out.